Okay guys, everything is done. Um, let's see, I think the last thing that I needed to cover that I didn't show in any other videos is the induction tubing. That turned out to be a little bit of a challenge. Let me show you here. But basically this design here, this is a 4-inch duct work that I got from a hardware store just to mock out what the routing would look like. And this is kind of what I need. So I plan on having, since the throttle body is a 4-inch, it steps down, next down to about a 3.5, I think, on the box. But ideally I wanted to use induction tubing that gave me a shape like this. Unfortunately, and I don't want to use aluminum tubing. I'd like to stick with some sort of polyethylene or urethane that you see most cold air intake systems use, and also the stock systems use. But in any case, so I didn't want to use aluminum. Air Raid's got a really nice custom kit you can purchase for like $129, and you get to cut it to the shape that you want, and the angles. They give you like 30 degree, 45 degrees, 90s, and straights. It's just one long tube, and it's got areas where you can cut. Well, they're out of stock, and the best that I can see of when they're going to get that back in is like August, September. Probably due to the COVID crisis hitting the supply chains. But so I'm not obviously going to wait that long. So what I did was I purchased these 90-degree silicon couplers, or I got one here. I think this is from MRB. It was like $30-something, I think. And I got a 30-degree here. And then what I decided to do is reuse my Air Raid induction tubing here. Normally it sits, if you were to rotate this 90 degrees, is how it sits. So I just put it up on its side here. It's rotated 90 degrees from where it normally sits. So it does clear the hood. It's pretty tight though. When I close the hood, it does get it pretty tight in there and snug, but it looks like it works. The biggest issue I have is this fan shroud molding. Makes it kind of difficult because I got to work around that. The other thing that was nice about being able to reuse the Air Raid intake tubing that I had already was, it's already got the ports tapped and threaded in the induction tubing for the PCV fresh air routing. So anyways, so I went that route, went ahead and was able to route my hoses for the fresh air PCV lines that go into the rocker covers. One of the hoses I had to get a longer one for that, and then this one here I had to get a 90-degree 5/8 to 5/8 barb to allow it to be able to route. But in any case, got that finished. This is probably going to be just temporary until I can get something better. There is a site out there that sells a induction tubing little kit for these type of applications, for the LT4 Supercharger applications, but it's really expensive, and all you're getting is two couplers and the molded tubing. I think it's almost $500, and that's just way too much money that I'm not going to be paying for. Let me get you some shots here what this looks like from the side. So you can see the airflow routing is pretty much the same in terms of the bends. It's just, it goes up now instead of to the side. That's what it looks like from the passenger side. That's what it looks like here from the driver's side. So anyways, like I said, it's most likely just going to be temporary. Hopefully it works for now. Went ahead and capped off the vacuum port there that I'm not going to use right now. I talked about in the last video that it could be used to run to the brake booster. Went ahead and got the pump wired up and have it routed. Probably something I might clean up later. But in any case, I got the battery connected, and the truck is actually about ready to be started. What I'm going to do now is turn on the key and let this thing just ignition on and let the pump run. I think, if I remember correctly, on the looking at the service manual, if it shuts off after 3 minutes, that's due to air in the system or some other issue. So I just want to make sure that the pump continuously runs past 3 minutes. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to upload that initial start tune that I covered a while back, and then go from there. All right, I'm going to turn on the ignition and hopefully that pump kicks on. Okay, the ignition's on, but no pump. Alright, so I'm going to look into why the pump's not coming on. I was worried about that. That's that O-ring that I nicked. In any case, I'm going to let this pump continue to run. I'll hold this fitting on here. Get a towel under that. I'm not worried about that. This means it's going to be bringing air into the system. Well, I'll take care of that later. Let this thing run for another minute or two, just to make sure the pump doesn't turn off. And then I'd like to get it started and just see how it runs. Oh, the issue was with my antifuse. I forgot to add a second fuse to the antifuse to complete the circuit, an incomplete circuit. Alright, so this thing's been running long enough. Looks like my pump is looking like it should. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here and then get ready to load the initial tune and start it up.